So you were just talking about the people that they send you messages, you've helped me, they're depressed or whatever else. Why do you talk about your own depression? Like, why do you share that with everyone?
Well, okay, so several years ago, I thought if people are out there hurting like I'm hurting, then they need to know I'm hurting, because I felt like there were certain things that we did where I started noticing that people wanted to do the same things, like, hey, where do you get your cowboy hats from? Well, American Hat Company. Go to besthatstore.com, based out of Fort Worth. Those guys are great. Where do you get your boots from? Where do you get? And I'm like, well, it's weird. It's like asking Fonzie where he got his leather jacket from. And I'm like, why would people want to know and emulate? And I said, well, okay, well, if you want to know the truth, if you really want to know the truth, then let's get down to the gut level and expose it. And I'll tell you that I'll show you the scars as well. So for me, was the deal, as you know, I would not be where I am today had I not been honest about depression. I wouldn't be where I would not have been successful. There was a time, just similar to Jeff's story, there was a time whenever you looked at me and said, this is not the person I married. Mm-hmm. You got to get this, because I had let it slack off. And so for me, it's been a 10-year battle. A little bit longer than that, honestly, but a focused battle for 10 years of dealing with it. And I thought, hey, if you want to see who I am, who I really am, because I know in the Western world, in the cowboy world, it's really, you don't talk about it.
Right.
And I know, coming out of that world, that cowboys don't want to talk about being depressed. Same as we've talked about, military guys don't want to talk about being depressed. You're a man, you're
I got
tough.
a phone call, 3 years ago. We were in Billings, Montana, and I got a phone call from a guy that said, hey, what are you doing? Like, nothing. And it was Chad Prather saying, hey, I need you. That's what I needed.
Oh, that's so gay.
I'm not going to cry. I promise. But I was at that point of I needed to be needed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because he'd been talking about you for a while, I guess, before he made the phone call.
Yeah, but it was literally that phone call. And she'll tell you that phone call was what I needed.
Don't you make me cry, Steve Powell.
Now how do you feel about it?
Hey, best decision that he ever made.
Me too. I get that.
But really, that was I was waiting on that phone call. I didn't know that phone call was the one I needed, but it was. It's like, where are you at? I need you.
Oh.
And Chad does that. He just takes what he wants.
2,500 miles away, doing my own thing, doing my, doing it. He said, I need you.
It was time.
It was time.
It
was past time.
So I'm going to cry a little bit here.
Aww.
I know. God.
Hoorah.
Oh, my life would be incomplete without Party Foul Steve.
Well,
it would.
Yes, I like that you discuss your feelings. I like that you talk about the depression.
I'm in touch.
You are, and I think that's important because especially on something like Facebook and social media, period, it's easy to look at people's lives and be like, well, they have it all. Mm-hmm. But we all know that material things and being popular and all this stuff, that's not everything.